We are directly into the game. It's the first semifinal of the day. And in the top left on Bell Shear, it is the Blue Terran Bunny.
And his opponent, spawned down here on the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the red Protoss player, also representing Dust Gaming. Give it up for Hush, whose probe encountered an SCV in the middle of the map over that Zolnog Watchtower. Pretty early SCV, mind you.
Yeah. If I was Bunny and I saw a probe scout this early, I mean, want to be a little bit paranoid of what they're going to do, of course, but then I'd also be like, maybe I shouldn't proxy, because it's going to be very obvious what I'm doing. The probe's going to get into my main base. It's not going to be delayed at all, or, you know, ideally just not scouting at all, and I just don't know how effective a build like this is if they know so early.
Zombie Grub, when you get the probe scout out on the attack this early on, not only can you be annoying and harass that SCV down, but even if the SCV had started up on the factory, even if it was like getting close to finishing, you can actually just plant down a pylon as soon as, like, if they try to go, because I imagine this was planned to be a reactor factory cyclone all in, right? That's what it was looking like, at least. And you can just plant down a pylon by the reactor, and like you can block it entirely from happening.
Yeah, we've seen that happen. I was gonna say the positioning of the barracks is a little questionable as to what his intentions were, because sometimes we'll see the barracks factory like over here and the proxy Reaper over here, but it's like it's either or really, and he does just place his factory back at home. So
yeah,
I mean, it does force the Protoss to respond. So obviously Hush had to get to Zealots to really feel secure, and he doesn't have his Nexus after Gateway. But I would say this wasn't the ideal. Starport's still gonna be proxied. Hey.
Making a second Reaper as well. You know, it's one of those times where I feel this pain where sometimes you just encounter a Terran player who makes like 3 Reapers in TvP, and you're just like, who does that? And you don't have your units in position to deal with it, because again, who does that?
Yeah,
but
right.
This could potentially maybe get a little bit of extra damage done, since that first Reaper did end up surviving.
The Reapers are looking for some type of counter proxy, which isn't too out of the question. But it's just a probe looking for the command center.
Yeah, killing off the probe is definitely going to secure safety of mine, but oh god, Bunny, he's not done yet. He's getting a tech lab on a starport that was proxied, so...
Yeah, Banshees. Very interesting to see Banshees. A Liberator can do a lot of damage, but the Banshee, while pushed off a little bit, timing-wise, is just such a surprise. You know, it's just gonna... Even if they have a Robo, even if they have observers, they might not have them in position. That's a big deal.
The #1 rule of cloaked unit Zombie Grub is just because you detect them does not mean they cease doing damage.
Yes, that is true. Missed a couple of subs. Thank you to Hamrick B for the 7-month sub just now. But then Cuddly Scorpion resub for 8 months. Excellent casting as always, guys. Ace TC, thank you. And Expert Bly, the Bly, resub for 3 months.
It's an expert version of Bly. It's much better than a normal Bly.
Yes, exactly. He's got like a degree and everything.
He's got a degree.
Oh, he's gonna just go ahead and stockpile the Banshees, I guess? Whether he's stockpiling or just waiting for Cloak, either way, I like it. There's just... I don't think Hush usually guesses of the proxy Banshee. Unless, you know, being teammates, they could practice a lot together, but it doesn't look like he's guessing it.
I mean, the fact that he's making a War Prism and not an Observer tells me that he's not guessing this in the slightest.
Yeah, right? Surprised out, the Zelnaga. Don't usually see one of those.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not going to be for the better. Ends up losing it to the 2 Reapers. And now the Adepts are going to make their way across the map. But this may very well just be an instant tap out. Like, if you do not have detection and 2 Banshees come into your main and your natural, and you don't even have Stalkers, like, that is potentially just instant loss.
Oh, an Observer just popped. It's so close. Stop moving. Stop moving, Observer. Oh no. Okay, it is pulled back, but right, it's 2 Banshees, so...
Yeah, he can only defend 1 base, and he's just losing all the work because of both of them. He's going in for the attack, hoping that he can maybe just do some counter damage. Widowmine connects with every single or half of the Adepts. Soften up the shields, already making this more difficult. There's a Siege Tank there too.
Yeah, that Siege Tank popped up just in time. The supply depots were raised just in time, and even though the tank might just get slaughtered here, The Banshees could always come back home. A Widowmine, oh, from south gets the War Prism and the Adepts, and that's got to be it for Hush.
I mean, the second Observer's out now, but looks like the first Banshee already got picked off, and there's just not much of an answer for this Banshee. There's still not even Stalkers out on this map, because Hush has been losing so much economy.
Yeah, 23 workers have been killed. I mean, Resident Glaze is about to finish, but what is he going to do with it? He doesn't have a War Prism, he doesn't have any Adepts, he doesn't have any money.
That's the last Photon Overcharge. He doesn't have any Photon Overcharges available, so Banshee says, I don't really even care whether or not you actually have one Stalker. I'm just going to go after as many probes as possible. Even Cloaks to try and get out of there is going to get sniped off, but, well, that Starport can still make more Banshees.
He's going to get the Observer.
Oh my god.
So good. So good.
That's so savage. Oh my, wait a second, hold on. Observers have 60 health, and auto turrets 3-shot observers.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's pretty quick, right?
Oh.
Bunny did play it safe, but okay, yeah, it's totally Bunny's game from there on out.
I'm getting a headache from just thinking about anyone that may have just been inspired by that.
Yeah, I love
does
when
not seem like fun to deal with.
When Terrans get a Raven versus Protoss. It's still kind of unorthodox, but it happens more lately, and I love when they see a Observer.
Yeah, a pretty strong thing, and of course it was in fact a team. It is a team battle, so of course all the kind of mind games and meta games are absolutely going to be coming into play. You expect your teammate to play a certain way, and sometimes there's even a little bit of that kind of whole, okay, we're going to play honorably, right? Because we're both teammates, and then your opponent is just like, no, I am just going to do stuff that maybe I haven't even done before because it's going to catch you off guard.
Yeah, that's what I would do against a teammate. Whoever played a lot of StarCraft with me knows I don't cheese. So that's the first thing I would do.
Yeah, and if I ever played against you, you know that I just love Dark Templar, so I would never go for Dark Templar.
Don't lie to me. You would.
I'm just telling you that so that you think I wouldn't go for Dark Templar, so when I do, it would work a little bit better.
I know you.
You'll have that doubt now.
It's too tempting to go for Dark Templar. Like, macro is not tempting. You haven't dipped into the, juice of whatever.
What? Okay.
Nectar.
Okay, hold on. I just want to clarify something. I know that I am known as a cheesy little son of a gun, but I'm a man of macro, okay? I am a man who enjoys a good macro game. If anything, probably the most iconic thing about my style is that I get somewhere between 5 to 12 observers.
That's a few too many.
I do not get doom dropped, okay? Like, it just doesn't happen.
Well,
like, I have enough observers that I see the doom drop moving, like, as soon as it moves outside of the third. I have time to slow warp in a High Templar in the middle of the map to feed back all of the medevacs. Like, that's how much coverage I have.
It's beautiful.
Alright.
Next
game, getting close up.
I'm gonna take that as a challenge, actually, if we ever face each other.
Oh, God. Well, okay, here's the thing. You need to give me time to get up to 12 observers. It's not just like, okay, 4-minute mark, I have 12 observers.
Oh, okay. Fine, 10-minute no rush. I think I can still doom drop you.
This GSL map, Abyssal Reef, is this different than Abyssal
It is. So, sometimes the Zergs will specifically ask for it. I don't think Terran Protoss really cares much, but it desaturates, I guess, the color. So it's not as bright or like glowy, or it doesn't have as many like things running around, so it's a bit easier to see.
That's fair. It reminds me of the whole thing where, like, in Brood War, they allowed all kinds of different map tile sets, but there was like they would not allow the snow tile set because it like hurt the eyes of pro gamers.
I never really thought about why there wasn't any snow maps. I loved the snow maps in Brood War campaign.
Yeah, I mean, Brood War tile sets were pretty damn nice, but I believe that was the reason, is that snow tile sets actually physically hurt the eyes of players, and they just were like, we're not going to do this anymore.
I always thought the desert tile hurt my eyes in Brood War. I hated any map that was desert tile.
Really?
Yeah. If it was just like, if it was desert tile, but it had a bunch of knickknacks, it didn't really matter, but there was this one map that was like majority... There's like base, and like nothing in the middle. Just a big old
like
desert.
Like the brownish beige color?
Yeah.
what was it like? Trying to spot other things on the mini map or like on the map hurt your eyes, or
I think
was
it was
it?
just that it was also 480p. So, you know, I didn't like watching those games.
Okay, fair. Because like for me, it was the white background for the snow maps. It's one of those things where I'm sure you live on the East Coast, right? So you know the feeling of you look at like a fresh day of snow when the sun is out, and like your eyes hurt when you look at it. For me,
Yeah,
it was almost
sun
that
blindness,
effect.
or snow
But
blindness.
with like a beigeish brown desert map, what was the difficulty there?
I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, you don't get snow blindness in StarCraft 2, so what's the difference? Except just like slight
I
color
think it's the
differentials.
shade of white and the contrast of it.
So I just think that the overall blandness and of the desert tile just made me really uncomfortable. I really did. It was only one map. Like I don't think there's any other maps
It's
that
too
use
bland.
desert. The desert tile used that I was bothered by. I don't even remember the name of the map. I just remember it was small, and I think it had one of the like colony features. So there's like colonies spread around the map, but
Oh.
I don't remember what it was called. So I couldn't tell you. But,
Yeah, I can't think of any. Literally, the only map name that's coming to my mind are Steps of War and Heartbreak Ridge.
Oh, well. There's actually a snowstorm going on right now outside my window, so it's funny you brought it up.
I heard about that. That's I've been seeing all kinds of people tweeting about it. I know that one or two people, I think it was Joe from Nerd Street, was tweeting about how he was like, "Hey, does anyone have any food recommendations? Because I think I'm about to get snowed in and I need to restock right now."
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
"Oh
mean,
boy."
obviously, the farther north you go, the more people are going to complain. Like, New York's getting hit really hard, and Philadelphia would be hit harder, but Northern Virginia's not so bad. They're just like...
70 degrees in California. In fact, 77 sometimes.
like 7 inches of snow outside my window. Whatever, man. Alright, it's game number 2, and it is this guy's map choice. It is the red Protoss Dust Hush.
And up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, we have the blue Terran player. Give it up for Bunny. Also representing Team Dust.
Team kill. And you get a panic switch for the 32-month resub. Rifkin looks amazing. How did they get such a chocolatey tan? Rifkin. How did you get such a good tan?
So Zombie Grub, I don't know what you're talking about.
Is this an attempt to sound like Rifkin?
That was an attempt to sound like Rifkin doing that kind of weird voice he sometimes does.
Oh, I know what voice you're trying to do. I know exactly what you're trying to do.
Because
It's
I
almost
can't
like
do a
Mickey.
real...
It's almost
I
like
can't do a
goofy
real
voice.
Rifkin impression. It is a lot like a Mickey voice.
Well, in that case, I applaud you. I think that was a very spot on.
All right, well, Probe Scout coming out very early on. Hush is just like, no, not again. Actually, he went for the early Probe Scout in the last game. I wonder if he's just paranoid about his teammate cheesing him out or something.
Well, if he is, he didn't do a good job defending against it, so it doesn't matter if he scouts it.
Yeah, kind of funny enough, like in that last game, he scouted out, it was like, oh, you went for the proxy. And then he ended up losing the probe and the natural to like a cyclone and just had no idea what actually was coming out behind it.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, that probe getting so close to a kill. He's gotten almost 2 kills on those SCVs.
Yeah, this is the type of probe everyone should try and do if they're Protoss. I don't understand Protoss players who like come in, scout, and leave, and I'm like, really?
I'm with you. I have single-handedly won games with my like scouting probe before.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever done that. I won a game with only a 1 Reaper, but, you know, that was...
I played an Archon mode match with Tempo once, and it was a PvT. We decided to scout with 2 probes, and we won the game with a double probe scout because it was Archon mode. And we just out-microed them with 2 probes.
Yo, I think I remember you
Like, they
telling me
just
about
gave up.
that when you did it.
It was great.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good times. Arkham used to be fun.
Yeah. Well, Reaper gets picked off. It was not an Archon mode Reaper, but yeah, it still gets kind of good scout out. Sees the robotility, I believe.
Yeah, good. Yes, indeedy. Cyclone on the way from this factory. Still a starport. A little surprising.
Yeah, I mean, Cyclone instead of a Widowmine and also no Starport is definitely a bit interesting from Bunny. I wonder if he's just going to go for a really fast third CC. No, there's a Starport. Okay.
Bit delayed on the Starport for getting the Cyclone instead of a Widowmine. Interesting choice, though. Like, I mean, the Widowmine defends against most of the same things that a Cyclone would help against, defend against. Like, you know, an Adept at the front, easily dealt with by both units. Oracle would be dealt with easier by a Widowmine, assuming it runs over it, but I guess if the Cyclone could chase it. I don't know, this feels more like he's expecting a Warp Prism attack, where you can deal with the Adepts very quickly, but then also get a lock on the Warp Prism.
Yeah. I think something like that would definitely make sense. Either that, or I guess also it just goes to show that he's not really afraid about a Oracle opening. Well, I was going to say that, but then he goes for that kind of patented Viking first that we were talking about way earlier on in the broadcast, which I still find very, very odd.
It would still help out against the Warp Prism, so I'm still on the fence of the side of the fence that says, like, I think this is because he's worried about a Warp Prism, which he's totally right about. There is a Warp Prism on the way. There was a Warp Prism last game too that almost made things a little complicated.
This could actually really shut it down. Having a Cyclone that's able to lock on, if it even gets kind of remotely close. And the cool thing is, he doesn't even have to have the Cyclone sitting inside of his main base. He can actually shoot it down to the third as the Warp Prism moves into the main. The Viking is going to slowly but surely pick away at it, and as soon as that Warp Prism is on the retreat, Cyclone shuts it down.
This is the exact same build Hush did last game. I think Bunny just recognized that and is like, totally countering it. He still has to have units in position. If like 17 Adepts get in your main base without you doing anything, then it's 17 Adepts. But oh no, that's supposed to be already walled off.
Right.
Oh, but he decides not to go for it. Probably a smart move, really. While the wall was tempting, there just wasn't that many Adepts.
Yeah, there's also 2 siege tanks there, and that would have been kind of difficult to push into, especially considering he knows that the lifeline for that Warp Prism was not going to last very long with the Viking picking away at it.
Yep. Resident Glaives also wasn't done and still is a bit a way to go, so it's going to have to be a transition into Robotics Bay, so he's also going to have to add on Blink eventually. Just won't have a very ideal set of units. But Bunny did have to kind of give up a few things to hardcore counter this build. He doesn't have very quick stim. He doesn't have, you know, 2 medevacs to drop. He doesn't have upgrades. One just started. And while, yeah, you can push forward with this many Marines and tanks without stim and combat shields, against this many Adepts, it's always going to be risky.
Yeah, nice pickoff over there. Hush finding a couple of units that were a little bit too far forward by themselves. Kills off a Cyclone and is able to back on out of there. But overall, considering how this game started opening up and how poorly it could have gone, keeping the Warp Prism alive and continuing this Adept harassment has really been working out quite well for Hush.
I'm worried about his overall composition still, though. Like, oh, there's 2 Warp Prisms. Huh.
Oh.
I was hoodwinked.
I didn't realize we were watching Rotterdam.
Hey. The Medevac sees the other Warp Prism, and I think Bunny would also be surprised. I don't know if he saw it. Medevac did. But right, the composition. So yeah, I would be worried about Hush's overall composition. He went for Resident Glaives and Colossus, which means that he has fodder for his Colossus technically, but if any Vikings came out whatsoever, his Colossus would just be shot down.
Yeah, even those 2 Vikings could quite literally have free pickings on every single Colossus until the first round of Warpins came in. But I guess it kind of works out for now because he's going to be able to build up that Colossus count and eventually get up maybe Stalkers and stuff behind this, while the double Warp Prisms are able to continuously keep Bunny at home. I mean, how often do you see a Terran player that has been this passive almost at the 8-minute mark or close to it?
This is a very awkward engagement.
I wouldn't even call it an engagement.
This Warp Prism is going to be a little bit too fast, man. This one got hit by... I think it was just low from earlier.
Yeah. And the Viking doesn't have vision of the Warp Prism anymore, so it doesn't know what direction it's going. And Warp Prism in the main base does move in. Not enough Adepts to actually clean up the Marines, but able to kill off a couple of, actually a lot of workers. 6 workers go down.
Not so bad. I thought it was the Viking, but it's an SCV. And even though Bunny's trying his best to be absolutely totally prepared against the double Warp Prism harassment, he's just barely missing out on both Warp Prisms. So low.
Ooh, dropping the south side of the natural. Doesn't seem like Hush has any idea about it. It's going to be moving into the natural. No, the main.
It's without stim, so it's really not going to be that scary.
Yeah, well, kills the motion core. That's not bad damage.
Wow, I did not expect that to happen.
There's no anti-air zombie girl.
Yeah, I'll just pick up every single time. That does complicate things, and Sim is almost done, about 7 seconds. He's also pushing from the north, and that Warp Prism, I think, barely missed out. Oh, the Adepts are going to run into too big of an army. Oh, this is such a waste.
Oh, Zombie Grub. This is the biggest part about this drop actually being so successful. Is not necessarily about the damage it did, even though it did quite a bit of damage, but it just frees up so much space for this army to move forward. It's going to be able to siege up the 3rd expansion before the army can really get into a good spot. The siege tanks are sieged up. This expansion is going to go down.
You don't usually see 6 tanks in a TvP, but these will obliterate anything, really.
Yeah.
Stalkers, Sentries, Colossus. Okay, the Adepts just got destroyed. I think Hush is screwed. He's got a Warp Prism, but it really is just kind of like, I think it's a good idea, but it's not going to work out. Pylon's going to depower the Robo. No 3rd Colossus for you. 4th Colossus.
Oh god, you know when the siege tanks can probably just focus fire down the Colossus? That Terran player's in a really good spot. It looks like the final stim up's coming over here. Don't think it's gonna be enough to kill off the Colossus, but it's not like it matters because there's no anti-air and there's one Viking.
Colossus are the funniest to watch die in Abyssal Reef. I could do this all day.
Colossus dying to Vikings with no anti-air is actually just like the silliest thing because you just kind of imagine the little like skinny legs waddling away.
Stop attacking me. Alright, this is totally game. There's so much army, so many tanks, man.
Yeah. Up and coming player Bunny taking out his teammate and moving on to the grand finals of the Olimoleague.
It's gonna look easy. Although I will say that Hush looked questionable against Terran. Not bad per se, but he wasn't doing what a lot of other Protosses are doing. Like,
but that's also surprising too, because if you look at the run that he had, he took out Gumiho 2-1 and he took out Alive 2-1.
That's true.
He must have been doing something right. Like, those are really good plays.
That is a very good point. Maybe it's more that Bunny just knew how Hush played, where the other two maybe didn't. I don't know.
I could definitely see that. I mean, he was just doing the same thing, it seems like, every game.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you guys get to become a Patreon, you'll actually get the replays and you can see. Well, assuming that Crank and Alicia were in the other games anyway. No confirmation on that. This will set us into the next semifinal, which is going to be Hero versus Beyond, another TvP. I'm going to guess it's going to be a very fun one. I don't know if it'll be close per se, with Hero's ability to cheese and Beyond's ability to proxy, but it'll be very fun. So it's not the best of 3. Quick 2-minute commercial break while I get that set up.